Yo, welcome back everybody to a brand new video here on the second channel, and I just got back from San Antonio Regionals like 5 minutes ago, and I am super excited to do a tournament report for San Antonio. I was thankfully able to get CP, and I ended up playing Mew Vmax to San Antonio. Yes, I did it. I played Mew to a regional, something that I didn't think I would ever say ever because I was the biggest hater of Mew for a long time, but I thought that Mew was a decent call for the tournament. I'm pretty happy with my run, even though I didn't get day 2 and my matchups weren't maybe the matchups I was hoping for overall. I am proud of the run regardless, and I'm happy that I was able to still squeak away some CP with Mew Vmax. I want to give a big shout to everybody who came up to me this weekend and said hi, got me to sign something, took a picture with me, all that good stuff. I do appreciate all the support, as always. It was just awesome to meet a lot of fans and subscribers. Just, I love talking to people. I love meeting new people. And yeah, I want to give a shout to everybody who came up to me and all that good stuff. San Antonio was a very fun time. Arguably the best regional experience I've had so far. The tournament was pretty well run. It flowed pretty fast. I think the location was fantastic. San Antonio might just be the best location we've had for a regionals maybe ever. I don't know, man. I thought Orlando was going to be hard to top, but I don't know. Like, I think that San Antonio was a fantastic place for regionals. I mean, there was like a massive mall like right across the street from the convention center. There was the Riverwalk. It's a great time. The vibes in San Antonio were really nice. It was warm down there. I'm from Canada. Literally, it's snowing outside. We have like a mini blizzard going on. So like it's kind of polarizing to go from warm to cold, but either way, had a blast. Have a lot of really funny things that went down this weekend with me and my friends, including a pizza that ended up getting stolen. So just some crazy stuff went down this weekend. But you're here for the tourney report, right? Because I played Mew Vmax. So going into San Antonio, I was very content on playing Mew. Like I would argue that like 2 weeks before the tournament, I was like, Mew might just be the play for the tourney. And obviously, I did my tourney report where I did get top 4 at a League Cup with Mew. I was like, all right, I'm feeling the deck. I'm kind of getting the practice in. I really did put a lot of time into playing Mew to make sure that I knew how to play the deck properly, because the deck, obviously, it's not the easiest deck to pilot in terms of like everything you do, because there's a lot of sequencing, a lot of like plays you have to make in order to pilot the deck properly. It's not just, dump your hand, draw 6 cards every time. You have to actually like sequence well. You have to know what cards you want to keep. Like, is it worth cramming away this power tablet or this vacuum or whatever? Like, there's a lot of little things that go into playing Mew, and I thought Mew was like an okay play for this weekend. Honestly, considering Charizard was 18% of the meta, now I'm not too sure it was the best play for the tournament, but I'm still glad I played Mew anyways. Arguably, Mew is the most consistent deck in the game right now, and that was one of the things that drove me to wanting to play the deck. I was talking to my friends. I was like, the thing with Mew is, you play any other deck, they're not going to be as consistent as Mew. The one thing that Mew does best is it carries you because it's just so consistent and strong. Genesec's ability in combination with all these like powerful items, it just makes it so that Mew is really low maintenance. It doesn't really require you to like do too many things. You just have to make sure you're drawing and sequencing correctly, and the deck's just always drawing cards. The deck's very fast. If you're looking for a specific card, it's very easy to find it on said turn you actually need it. That was one of the things that drove me to want to play Mew. It's like, it's just a consistent deck. It's more consistent than anything in the room. Like, if I'm playing against Miraidon, okay, Miraidon can get a full board of Pokemon to play in one ability, but they rely on Research and Iono for their draw. Like, they can brick pretty easily. They can get really clunky hands. Whereas Mew, as long as you're just putting Genesect in play, you're drawing, like, a good amount of cards every turn. So I was like, yeah, Mew's good. I think it's consistent. I think it's actually good into most of the top decks right now. It's got a good Miraidon matchup. It's pretty good into the Lost Zone variants, in my opinion. And it's not bad into Tina. Obviously, I was a little scared of Spiritomb. That's why I ended up going with Fusion Mew, because I didn't want to take the L to Spiritomb. Because Spiritomb, I thought was going to be a bit popular this weekend. I thought people that were playing Miraidon and Rapid Strike and stuff like that, or even Tina, would just incorporate a one of Tomb in their decks, because it's really not a bad call to play Tomb. It's good against Control, Rotom, and Mew. So it's like good against 3 specific decks, which you kind of, need to be able to beat. Like, it's good against Zard, it's good against Mew, and it's good against Control. Why not play one? So I was a little worried about that. I was like, dude, what if I just run the deck and then I hit like 3 Tombs I'm out of the tournament? Thankfully, I hit 1 Tomb the entire tournament, so that was nice, but I didn't want to play DT. I do think that DT is also a very strong deck. I think the deck does have a better Zard matchup than straight Fusion Mew, and DT Mew is definitely a lot stronger in terms of the disruption. But I thought Fusion Mew is better because I like the ability to just do a lot of damage. I mean, Meloetta is insane. I won a couple games because of Meloetta, so like it's just good to have. You get donk potential. I was gonna play Palkia V-Star before the tourney. That was my other main deck I was thinking about running was Palkia V-Star. I thought Palkia was actually a good call for this tournament. I thought it was a great play actually, and it even got top 4. I was gonna play Palkia with a 1/1 Vulpix V-Star to counter Charizard because Charizard were cutting rope from their list, so I thought that Vulpix was gonna be a good one of because if I'm playing against a Zard player who doesn't play Escape Rope, they don't really have a way to stop Vulpix if I can set it up quick enough. So I was gonna go with Palkia, but I didn't want to last minute switch decks to like a deck that I'm not too familiar with or didn't practice with as much. Where I've actually been playing Muse consistently for like 3 weeks now, and like I've put a lot of time into like making sure the 60 was good. And I thought the 60 was great. I really like the double judge because the double judge is really nice when you're trying to, when your hand is clogged up, you need to like refresh your hand. When you want to, or a lot of the time your early game is to like go judge path Technoblast, right? So like two judges is really good. It just allows you to just be disruptive. The double Sparkle, double Boss Iono, pretty common stuff. I think the big inclusion in the deck is obviously that TM Devo. So before the tournament, I cut the box out of the deck. I didn't like Box of Disaster. I think Box of Disaster is not the greatest card ever, in my opinion. I don't know. I didn't find it was very good in testing. It was like, I don't know, the box it wasn't very useful. Like, it's nice into Guardy, it's nice into Charizard, but I don't know, man. The box just, in my opinion, wasn't doing what I wanted it to. So I actually cut it, and I was going to play a one-of Grabber, because I was like, Grabber's kind of cute. Even if you're playing a one-of, just having hand knowledge is just kind of strong. Like, sometimes you just randomly play a Grabber, and it's like, oh, now I know I don't need to judge you, or now I know I don't need to Iona you. I'm going to go for Boss or Sparkle or whatever. So, I don't know. I did play a one-of Grabber. Ironically, it was actually decent to the Charizard matchup. That's kind of what the tool needed to be. I needed to cut a tool, to cut the box. The tool replacement, the one-of replacement, had to be something that allowed me to, have a better matchup in a Charizard. Grabber was okay because you can go Judge Path Grabber, but putting Grabber in here, it feels like at that point I'm just playing too many like cards. I'm playing too much of like a hybrid fusion deck DT Mew. I didn't like it. So I ended up actually last minute deciding that TM Devo, was going to be the best one-of to play. And I was like, all right, you know what? TM Devo seems good against Zard. I did hear a lot of rumors that Tool Jammer Zard was popular. I heard a lot of people were playing that this weekend. That's what I heard. And I was like, okay, I got 4 Lost Vacuum. I don't really care about your double jammer when I play 4 Vacuum. Okay, I'm playing at Zard. They put a Tool Jammer on. I'm just going to make sure I save the vacuum for the end of the game. I'm going to hold my vacuums. And I was like, okay, I don't care about Tool Jammer. The one TM Devo is the MVP of the deck. It is the one card that got me CP because my tournament run was a little scuffed, and thankfully the TM Devo got me some CP, and it was actually the best inclusion in the deck. I thought it was a good card. So basically, the idea behind the TM Devo is that against Zard, you use it at the end of the game. So what you try to do is you hopefully Judge Path early on, maybe win the game with a Judge Path or whatever. And then if you can cheese a win out, if you can hide the TM Devo without revealing your opponent, that you play it, hopefully the next game, you can go Iono to 1, Path TM Devo, and then hope your opponent does not draw out of an Iono to 1 in a path and play. And it actually works a lot of the time. When you're playing against Charizard, a lot of the time they will try to get double Zard in play because at that point it's really hard for you to win. So what you want to do, you want to hopefully wait for them to get evolutions in play. Let them take out a Vmax. Let them take out a V. Let them take 5 prizes. And then just go Iono Path TM Devo and then hope for the best. If they get a Charmeleon under a Charmander, you do need to Technoblast that before you de-evolve it. Because obviously they just re-evolve the Charmeleon. But if they just rare candy the Charmanders, you could just de-evolve them. And then it's like, oh, you're out of candy? Oh, you don't have one in your hand? You didn't draw an Arven? Okay, GG's. So I don't know. That was the idea. And it did win me a bunch of games. And the TM Devo was 100% worth it. So, yeah, I was happy with the 60. I thought the 60 was good. I cut the Ice Cube because I didn't think the Ice Cube was going to be necessary for this weekend. I don't know. In testing and in practice, the Ice Cube cost me a lot of games. In the games that I used it, I found that my opponent ended up winning the game by going 1, 2, 3 in the prize trade, so I just cut the Ice Cube altogether. I was like, all right, no, we're not playing Ice Cube. It's not a bad one-of, and it's honestly still probably good. I think it's a good 61st card in the deck, but I cut the Ice Cube from the deck. I was like, Meloetta's just better. I would rather just work towards 280 damage than have the potential to snipe the opponent. It's not bad, especially against Zard, where you can Judge Path snipe Charmander, but I cut the Ice Cube from the deck. I was like, whatever, I don't need it. And turned out I didn't really need it. So here's my training report. I did get CP. I went 5-3-1, which I'm happy with. I mean, at least I got some CP. It wasn't a total waste. That's a lot of 5-3-1. So my training report. So round 1, it was against a double turbo Mew, which I was like, okay, of course we got to start the day off with a double turbo Mew, a Mew mirror. I lost game one. My opponent went first, which a lot of the Mew mirror is really just who goes first, in my opinion, because whoever goes first is very favored. Basically, the mirror match is just you try to go 2-2-2. You just take 2 prizes every turn. You just go knockout Genesect, knockout Mew, knockout Genesect, whatever. You don't really ever take out 2 Vmaxes. You always just try to take 2 prizes. And my opponent won game 1. I won game 2. Game 3, I got a DPL because I accidentally Genesect under past the peak. Though looking back, there's a world where that DPL didn't cost me the game, because my opponent did Iono me after I took my 4th prize card. They Iono me to 2, and I bricked off the Iono. And my top deck wasn't a good card, so unfortunately I lost because I bricked off of it. The next card after the card I drew off the Iono was another dead card. I think I was going to lose anyways. So even if I didn't get the DPL, that extra turn wouldn't have mattered because I still got a dead card off of the top deck. The DPL was really unfortunate, though. Very unfortunate circumstance. I was a little annoyed. I was like, of course, start the day off with a DPL because I accidentally Genesect Underpath. Great way to open up the tourney. Round 2 was actually, let me, gotta choose a deck here. Round 2 was against another Mew Vmax deck. It was against another double turbo Mew deck. And funny enough, you know how this is the largest regional of all time? You know, there was, 1,900 players in this tournament. Jacob and Ian were both in the same friend group and testing group. So they were basically playing the same 58 cards. What are the chances I play against somebody who's friends with the person I just played against round 1? Why? How does that even happen? Like, in the beginning of the tournament, bro? What? So I was like, okay, wow, that's kind of ridiculous. And it was another DT Mew mirror. My opponent went first game 1, lost game 1, won game 2, lost game 3. Pretty much how the mirror can go sometimes. Round 3, we did pull things together. Round 3, I played against lost Tina. This one was a Spirit Tomb. My opponent, I think, went second. I went first. I won the coin flip. I went first, Genesect, and then they VIP'd for a Spirit Tomb. And I'm like, no, dude. I'm starting off 0-2 in the Mew mirror, and I'm playing against a Spirit Tomb in round 3. There is no way my run is going to end like this, because you lose 3 games. You're out of day 2. So I was like, oh my god. Now, luckily, because I'm playing Fusion, the Spirit Tomb wasn't that bad. I was able to set up Fusion Energy on Genesect. Won game 1. Game 2, my opponent had some very unfortunate draws. It's Giratina. You get the bricky draws, and unfortunately, my opponent just was not able to really get much going throughout most of the match. A lot of the time, they just had one Giratina in play, and I was able to boss knock it out. Tina's scary, though. I think Tina's a tough matchup if they play the Spirit Tomb, because you're forced to, like, sparkle, and then, because ideally against Tina, you're trying to boss those Giratinas before they become a problem. When they put a Spirit Tomb down, it's really hard to do that. So, Tina Tomb's scary. Thankfully, we beat it, and I didn't lose to a Spirit Tomb. Round 4 was actually against a Meowscarada deck. So, shout out to my opponent for the awesome game we had there. It was a cool deck. Playing against Meowscarada was fun. Unfortunately, it wasn't very fun for my opponent, though. It was a very quick 2-0. Round 1, they benched an Arceus, so I went Judge Path, and it stuck. Round 2, same thing. I think I pathed them early on. Basically, both games, by turn 2, I was doing Meloetta for 280 damage. Is kind of how I won that, too. Is by the time they set up the V-Star, I already had the path in play alongside 280 damage Meloetta. Even worse, I was using Mew to copy Meloetta for my opponent. So it was just it was really hard for me to win when I already had the Meloetta going by turn 2. But GG's to Graham. This is where things get ridiculous. So remember how in the first couple games I played against remember how in the first couple games I played against 2 people who were in the same friend group back to back, somehow in the largest regional ever at the beginning of the tournament, which the likelihood of that happening is very low. But round 5, I hit the person I was staying with, my friend Mario. Me and Mario were playing basically the same 58 cards. He wasn't playing Team Devo, he was playing Box. But yeah, me and Mario are playing the exact same 60. I was rooming with him, bro. I was literally rooming with Mario. Me and Mario are best friends. I traveled here with him, and I somehow hit him in the tournament. How does that happen? What is the likelihood of hitting 2 people back-to-back who are in the same friend group, and then hitting your literal roommate teammate in round 5? That's actually so silly. I don't know. That's just the craziest coincidence ever. And it's literally the largest regional ever. But yeah, Mew Mirror. We ended up tying. He won game 1, I won game 2. Game 3 went to time. We weren't able to close the game out in time. I think I was gonna lose. I think because we did the calculations, okay, your turn 0, turn 1, 2, 3. No one is able to take 6 prizes in the 3 turns. Though looking at potentially how the game was going, I might have lost that game. But I was happy to tie with my friend, because if either one of us won the game, one of us would not have made day 2. Unfortunately, we both went 5-3-1, but I was just like, bro, there's no way I hit my friend in the tournament. This is crazy to me. Round 6 was against an Arc deck. I guess there's no thing for Arceus. It was against an Arceus Umbreon Vmax deck. Yeah, so going in round 6, my opponent mulliganed, and I saw they had an Umbreon Vmax in the mulligan. I'm like, no way. I hit an Umbreon VMAX deck. Bro, where's the Miraidons? Where's the Rapid Strikes? Where's the Iron Valiant? What? Why am I playing against Umbreon VMAX of all decks? Now, luckily for me, both games my opponent had really bad draws. Like, both games, they bricked really hard. They were never able to get much going, which is good because, obviously, they had Umbreon. I can't let them. I don't think they played Spirit Tomb either. I did play around the Tomb if they did play. Like, I was purposely putting energy on my Genesect if they were playing Spirit Tomb because a lot of time Arc will play a Tomb. I don't think they played one, though, because they never got one into play. But I felt bad because, like, my opponent bricked both games. Like, they literally just weren't able to play the game either game. It is what it is. Thankfully, it was against Umbreon. I'll take the brick. Felt bad, though, because I'm a big fan of Arceus decks. I'm a huge Arceus enthusiast. It was an Arceus Umbreon Alolan Vulpix V-Star deck. I love Arceus, dude. I'm an Arceus stan. But because they were playing Umbreon, I was like, I had to breathe a sigh of relief. I felt bad because bricking, it just sucks to be able to get out of day 2 because of bad bricks like that. But it's what it is. Round 7. Against Guardy. I was dreading playing against Gardevoir because Gardevoir can be annoying to play against because like the games are so long. The deck's not easy for Mew, and I cut the Box of Disaster from the deck. So I was like, damn it, I'm against Guardy. There goes my run. Round 1, my opponent won, and then game 2 was going well because I was able to like KO the Ralston Kirlias one at a time, and my opponent was struggling to get them set up, and I was going like boss KO Kirlia. But my other boss was Prize, so I was not able to go quad boss, which I would have won the game if I did that. My opponent even said, like, if you were able to do that, I probably would have lost, and they would have conceded game 2 and went to game 3. Unfortunately, my other boss was Prize. I was not able to consistently boss up my opponent's Pokemon, and it ended up costing me the game in the end. So, unfortunate loss to Gardevoir there. That put me out of day 2. The last 2 rounds were the trials. I got 2 back-to-back Charizards. Now, I thankfully put the TM Devo in the deck because I was like, dude, Charizard is, I don't want to lose to it. I don't think Fusion Mew can beat it, even with Judge Path and the little bit of damage you get from Meloetta. It's still not enough. It's still tough to beat Zard, in my opinion. So round 8 was against Zard, and I won game 1. He won game 2. So in game 2, was it this round? It might have been round 9. No, it definitely was round 8. Was it? I can't remember. Because these matches were very similar to how they played out. Because like I won game 1 because of like the path, and like it was either game 2 or 3. I think it was round 8 where I did lose game 2. So I did lose game 2, but I lost because I maybe could have won. So there was a moment in game 2 where I was gonna go Meloetta KO's only Zard, and I maybe would have won the game from that. But unfortunately, I drew both Fusion Energy at once, so I was unable to sparkle to do 280 damage. I can only do 210 because I drew both energy. But I had the TM Devo and the Iono in hand, so I was going to, and he had 3 prizes left, so I was going to go Iono, TM Devo, but I was like, 3 prizes, the likelihood he can get a candy off of 3-card Iono, plus the top deck, 4 cards, I don't think it's worth the risk, so I conceded on purpose, because I didn't want to reveal the TM Devo. And then, round 3, my opponent was doing their thing, setting up, kind of steamrolling me. They got out of the Judge Path pretty quickly, actually. I think, actually, they drew the perfect hand off of a Judge Path or something. Or I think it was an Iono Path, actually. Yeah, I think I had to Iono them, actually, not Judge. I Iono Path them, because I had to do an Iono instead of Judge. But yeah, so basically my game plan was like, okay, I use my Iono, I'm going to Pal-Pat it back, save the TM Devo, and my opponent set up the Charizard and the Pidgeot, the double Charizard. But they took the 5 prizes, I went Iono Path TM Devo, and it won me the game. So it was a very close set there. And then round 9, it was a similar thing. So I won game 1. I can't remember if there's a game 3 or not. But I do know I did win the set because I did the exact same thing. I made my opponent get 5 prizes, and then I went Iono Path TM Devo, and they bricked for 3 turns, because I think in round 9 against Michael, I was unable to take early prizes, so like I had to take like 5 prizes after the TM Devo play, so I was like, this is not looking good, I gotta take a lot of prizes, but thankfully they ran out of Charmanders, and they bricked in the end, and they just scooped it up because it was like game over at that point. They had no Charmanders in play. I had to take like 3 prizes, 2 prizes, it was basically game, so they scooped it up once they ran out of Charmanders, and they were bricking, and they top decked after I took out the last Charmander, and their top deck was a dead card, and they scooped, so really impressive TM Devo set there. I was happy I played it, dude. Actually MVP, because if I wasn't playing the TM Devo, I don't think I was winning either game. Well, I won. So depending if with I can't remember if we went to a game 3 or not in round 9. But if we did, then maybe would have won anyways because we would have had that third game to see. But I know in round 8 I would have lost for sure. In round 8 I definitely would have not won without the TM Devo because the final round I wasn't able to go Judge Path early on. I had Iono Path. They drew out of the Iono Path. Round 9 was a bit different though. But yeah, Team Devo MVP'd, and overall, I was fine and happy with the list. I ended up going 5-3-1. At least I got some CP. It is crazy, though. I didn't play against any of my favorable matchups. In fact, you could argue all of my matchups were not very favored. Like, I would personally rather not play the Mirror. I don't think the Mirror's not that bad, but it's like, who wants to play Mirror, right? I don't want to play against Tino the Tomb. I don't want to play against an Arc Umbreon deck. I don't want to play against Guardian. I don't want to play against back-to-back Charizard. I think I had a really bad meta share, dude. Like, I think I played against some of my worst possible matchups I could have played against. Tina with Tomb, 3 Mew Mirrors, Gardevoir when I cut the box, an Arceus Umbreon deck, and double Zard. So, I don't know what to tell you, dude. Honestly, kind of a ridiculous one. I hit no Miraidon, no Rapid Strike, nothing like that. The variants really kicked my butt, but thankfully, at the end of the day, I still pulled off a little bit of CP to finish off the tournament, and I was like, all right, it's fine with me. Would I run the same 60 back? Honestly, I would consider it. I think that maybe if I hit better matchups, I would have had a better run. Plus, the TM Devo proved its worth, and it won me my last 2 rounds against Zard. So I would consider playing the same 60 again, because it was a pretty... I think the 60 is pretty good. I don't know what I would change about it. Okay, actually I do. Maybe I would try to re-add Box of Disaster, because I did lose to Gardevoir. So if you can try to fit a box back in, you can probably put a Box of Disaster in the deck. I'm not sure what you would cut. I like the double Judge a lot. I know a lot of people are liking 1 Judge. I'm a big fan of 2 Judge. Yeah, 2 Judge is really good. I'm a fan of 2 over 1, but maybe you can go 1 Judge for 1 box. 3 Tools is a little overkill. I think the TM Devo is actually worth playing, though, in my opinion. I think it's really good. If your opponent knows you played, it's a little awkward, but I think it is a pretty good one of to play in general. It catches a lot of people off guard. Every time I used it against my opponent in those Zard rounds, they were like, oh, crap, like, I didn't, oh, that's the thing. Like, I didn't see that coming. So, yeah, TM Devo was the MVP of this deck. I think the 60 is decent. I'd probably run it back if there was another regional tomorrow with this deck, because I think the deck's pretty fun. Mew's fun to play. I know I'm a big hater of Mew. I used to be a big hater of Mew, but I've joined the dark side, and I got some CP. I had a cool hat trick in the deck. The deck worked fine. My matchups were not very good, but even with the bad matchups I got faced with, I still was able to get CP, so I'm happy about that. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Once again, thank you everybody who came up to me and said hi at San Antonio Regionals. My next Regionals will be Knoxville, so I'm excited for that. Definitely hyping. I'm skipping Charlotte, but I'm going to Knoxville, so I'm excited to see what goes down in Knoxville. So yeah, hope to see some of y'all there once again. I know a lot of people are asking me where I was going to next at the tournament. I was like, yeah, I'll be in Knoxville next. And they're like, oh, I'll be there too. So I'm like, all right, sick. So hopefully I'll see some of y'all there once again. Hopefully we can get on stream again. Want to get another stream shirt. Maybe I'll be a caster. Who knows? You never know, man. Anything that the future holds for 2024. But that'll be it for me. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you on another video. I think actually all the day 2 lists are out now on Limitless, so double upload down the second channel. All right, peace out. Bye-bye.